Good morning, hockey fans. This is Steven Heisler with HeisHockey.com, Victorious Hockey Company, and the Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. And you are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. Today is Friday, January 25th, 2023. We are broadcasting on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Casual Friday, a little cold here in sunny Florida. We got the sun, 49 degrees here. I know you're freezing out west. You're freezing in the Midwest. Georgia declared a state of emergency because it got down to 40 last night. Maybe other reasons. Should be a good day, a good weekend. A lot of games on the schedule for tonight and tomorrow and Sunday. Let's first run down some news in USHL, United States Hockey League, last night at the Frosty Cup in Dallas. Fargo needed overtime to get past Tri-City 4-3. Some notes: having gone 7-3, 0-0 in the last 10 games, Fargo currently features the league's best record through 34 games. A pair of Lincoln Stars head into the weekend riding an 8-game point scoring streak. Mason Marcellus and Tanner Lute. Cedar Rapids forward Ryan Walsh has at least 1 point in the last 7 games. Tonight's schedule for North American Hockey League action. I take a stab at predicting some of these. Johnstown at Danbury. Johnstown, don't blow it. Got an opportunity here. Generals at Maryland. I think that's going to be a washout. I think Clint Milak's group will take care of business with that one. North Iowa at St. Cloud. That's going to be a war. Todd Sandin versus the General and Corey Millen. Corey Millen to be coaching from the cheap seats, still serving his suspension. That's worked out pretty good for St. Cloud last weekend in the sweep of Austin. Chippewa at Janesville. That'll be the Battle of Wisconsin. Should be interesting. New Jersey at Philadelphia. Rebs are coming on strong recently, aren't they? New Jersey's still winning a lot of hockey games. I don't think they lose this weekend. Minnesota Wilderness at Springfield. That should be a very good series. Wilderness coach is doing a fantastic job this year, despite having Dave Boyce as a boss. Lone Star at Shreveport. Civil War, Dan Wildfung returns to the nest. I know that a lot of history with Wildfung and Shreveport. Records go out the window this weekend. Bismarck at Aberdeen. Oh, Scott Langer's looking for revenge after getting smoked last week with Bismarck. Should be an interesting series this weekend. Look for Aberdeen's defense to be on point. New Mexico at Odessa. That'll be an excellent series. Corpus Christi at Oklahoma. The Ice Rays swept Lone Star at home last weekend when they were top ranked. Oklahoma is top ranked this week. Can the Ice Rays do it again? Austin at Minot. Austin's facing some medical issues. Some guys are sick. That time of the year in Minnesota. Minnesota. Nice and balmy and warm in Minot today. Should be hovering around 0. Excellent time for a Magic City sub. Hoagie. Listen, I've been pumping that place for months. Magic City Hoagie, I need send me a care package. Amarillo at El Paso. God, who do I dislike more? Do I dislike Harry Mahood more than I dislike Corey Herman? Tough call. Why couldn't Harry coach in El Paso and put Joe Coombs, who's okay, to Amarillo? Can we trade coaches? Great concept. I'm thinking right now that Joe Coombs would go to Amarillo. Better spot. You got your own rink. Could be really good. Not going to happen. Fairbanks at Anchorage, speaking of civil wars, that's going to be a monster. Fairbanks can't win at home, but they can certainly give Anchorage a run for their money in Anchorage. Should be a good series. A lot of love lost between Fairbanks and Anchorage. It's a beautiful drive from one to the other. I'm sure Fairbanks, with all the money they have, flew down to Anchorage. Probably today they'll fly down. It's going to be a barn burner at the Bogey. Barn burner at the Bend. It should be a good show tonight. I'm sure my good friends in Alaska are watching this and cracking up laughing. They're not watching it live, Tommy. It's 5 a.m. in Anchorage. No way. No way. Should be a great series. I think Anchorage has Fairbanks' number now. Fairbanks does better on the road than they do at home. Kind of strange. Should be a good series. And last but not least, Wisconsin Wendigo, red hot, going into Kenai River after sweeping Fairbanks in 3 games last weekend. Can we see a letdown? Is it possible Wisconsin will go 5-0 in Alaska in this 2-weekend trip? That would be epic for that new team. Not really a new team. They were the magicians from last year. Coaching staff of Wisconsin been fantastic. The general manager, Chris Hedlund, was the general manager of Kenai for years, and we always thought that he was the reason Kenai was so what's the word I want to use? So, not on point. There you go. But Chris is doing a good job with this team, that or the coach doesn't let him have any part of the hockey ops. Whatever is going on, Wisconsin has turned it on for sure. Let's get into today's article, the 5 easiest ways to lose a team's interest. This will be fun. You know what? It's nice to have an article where I don't get sued. There's nothing about today's content that should result in a phone call from a lawyer. This is good. This is good. Maybe Nate Keel will sue me from Kenai River. He can do it. Nate might file something. I can say something about Nate. Maybe I already did. Maybe that's the next phone call from a lawyer I'm going to get today. Players are always asking questions. Out of comfort, they often let mom and dad do that dirty work. Not a good look. Players will quickly learn that's not the best way to get a coach's attention, along with 4 other great ways to lose it altogether. Friday, we did a 5 something. Today, 5 easiest ways to lose the coach's interest or a team's interest. Number 5, bad presentation. It's clear there are always going to be eyes in the building, eyes in the sky, live barn, hockey TV, and most of all, eyes in the bench. The way you walk, talk, dress, behave, and play are all going to be considered when teams are identifying prospects. The entire package is equally important. Sure, you may have lit the lamp a few times, but if you dress like a hood rat and can't complete a sentence without dropping an F-bomb, there's a really good chance a big red X is going to be placed next to your name. Look at your behavior when you walk into the facility, whatever it is. If you're visiting a team, if you're at a camp, the way you present yourself matters, because the way you present yourself walking into that atmosphere is the way you're going to represent the team later on. You walk into a lobby and you're hanging with your buds and you see the lobby is mixed up with families, kids, parents, whatever, and you're talking like a dummy. Oh, F this, F that, blah, 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 blah. That ain't going to play well. You never know who's sitting in the lobby. They may be videoing every entry. Get yourself on point. Don't make a fool of yourself. Body language, number 4. Yes, it's a big deal on and off the ice. Are your emotions in check? What emotions are evident when an incoming pass is off the mark? What about practice? Can you handle constructive instructions? What happens when there's a mistake and you get replaced in the power play? There's an old deodorant commercial stating that we should never let them see us sweat. Apply that to your game on and off the ice. Save the anger, tears, and unhappiness for the drive home. Don't ever let the team and coaches see it. Hockey's an emotional game. I get it. Keep your emotions in the locker room. Actually, leave them in the car. Leave them in your house. Don't take them to the rink. Control yourself. Be cool. Number 3, retaliation. Kind of falls into that emotion thing. Retaliation is a little bit different. There's a good reason opposing coaches will send a pest onto the ice with the sole purpose of getting under an adversary's skin. If you're scoring goals and he sends the pest, he's trying to knock you off your game. It's one of the best ways to take an impact player completely out of his game. When it happens to you, the reaction should not be to two-hand the pest across the back, dropping your gloves, or even crying to the ref that the pest is bullying you. Your best reaction is to ignore the pest, stay focused on your game. When the pest crosses the line and is about to get some time in the penalty box, don't take the opportunity to try to knock his block off. Let the power play shut him up. Too many times, way too many times, we see a player get speared, slashed, something behind the play, and the player reacts, cross-checks the pass in the back, something else later on. That's seen. Now you got the penalty against you. Now your team is on the PK. That cost your whole team because you couldn't control yourself. Get control. Number 2, communication with the coach. This is a big one. Listen carefully. I do not care how cool you think you are with the head coach. Like the court of law, what you say can and often will be used against you. He's a coach. He's not your buddy. He's not your friend. When you feel the urgency to get something off your chest, talk to your advisors, talk to your parents, a former teammate, and even the current team captain before approaching the coach. Get that through your heads. The coach makes you angry. The last person you should be talking to about that is the coach. That will come back to bite you square in the booty each and every time. Be smart. That guy may laugh and joke and carry on with you on the bus, in practice, in the pregame meal, whatever it is. Always remember, he is the coach. Number 1, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Do not let mom and dad do it for you. Mom or dad. Again, speak for yourself. Do not let mom and dad do it for you. There are literally hundreds of players out there that could have done something special with their games, only to be flagged as a problem because of overzealous parents. From the Bantam level to the National Hockey League, make your own hockey decisions. As an advisor, it's important to give families good options, to allow them to make the choices. The bottom line is that choice should be the players. If the family's paying for the choice, okay, the family is important. But ultimately, it's the player that needs to communicate those choices, not the advisor, not the parents. I don't make choices for you. Your parents may help you make a decision, but you have to be the one that expresses it as a player. One particular mother lost her mind when her 20-year-old son kept getting passed over by team after team. He was a little undersized, a good player, but because of his size, he kept getting passed over. Regardless of my recommendation, on numerous occasions, he ends up in the USP non-sanction league. Almost pulled that off, huh? And then he was passed over by their free-to-play team. Somehow that was all my fault. Numerous North American Hockey League camps, non-sanctioned hockey camps, but it's my fault. The late push was for school. But mom has burned so many bridges that the poor son is now paying the price. That happens. Don't let your parents speak for your parents. If your son is shy, help him make his own statements. If he needs to do it in writing, sometimes that is better. When talking to a coach, if you're on the team, make sure you have another coach in the room. Don't get caught up in that he said, she said crap. Doesn't work. Don't ever walk into the room and say, my mom thinks, my dad thinks. That's a bad look. That's going to get you laughed at later on. Be smart. Junior hockey is a man's game. You have to be a man. Mommy and daddy are there to help you. Your advisor is there to help you, but you have to speak for yourself. We tell our clients this all the time. I'm not writing letters for players or clients for coaches. No, that's up to the kid. And we help them compose that letter. We help them compose that email, but we're not authoring it. That's not the way it goes. I want to give our clients the tools to make good presentations for themselves. That's all we can do. It's up to the player to communicate well. We have a goalie in Michigan that is home this year because his communication skills are lacking. When talking with coaches, he presents himself extremely poorly. He needs to work on that. He's an okay goalie, but there's 6,000 goalies out there. So those presentations are very, very important. When you communicate with a coach, it's very important that you have a game plan going ahead of that communication, either on the phone, text, or whatever else. Make sure you're armed with good weapons for that conversation. It's a big day for hockey today. We got a lot of games on the schedule for tonight. I'll be watching. A lot of youth games, a lot of NA3 games, a lot of NA and USHL games, a lot of games in Canada. Big night tonight, big day tomorrow. We're in the heart of our season. We're getting ready for playoffs. Teams are getting into position. What happens now matters. Trade deadlines and roster freezes are upon us. Now's the time. Settle in. Get yours. It's time. Get your points. Get your shifts. Work harder. You want to play somewhere at a higher level of play for next year? Now is the time to prove it. If you're a rookie in your first year of junior hockey and you struggle through the first half, you're not a rookie anymore. You're in the second half of the season, your second semester. Buckle down. Get to it. Seniors in high school. This is not the time for senioritis. Get busy in school. Don't take shortcuts in your academics. Not now. Not when there's so much money on the line for your success later on. That's it for today, folks. We hope that you enjoy your coffee and have a great day in hockey. That's our new punchline. That's our new closing argument.